Good morning, good day, good evening. I am as always your host, Brodie Robertson, and today we are back for episode 92 of Tech for Tea. I actually did a take just before, and for some reason I said 89. No idea why I said that. That was like 3 weeks ago. Anyway, I could just, leave this box here the entire time and just not explain it. That is certainly an option, and I've been considering it, but I think, let me just make it big. Yeah, you can sort of, if you pay enough attention, you can sort of make out what is there. So I actually bought a new monitor. So I'm still using my old one. I haven't actually set this one up yet. My current monitor configuration is I've got my 27-inch Asus, whatever the fuck it wants to be called. I don't know. I don't know monitor names. No one knows monitor names because monitor companies, they don't know how to name shit. Anyway, I bought this monitor. It's functional. Like, if you want to buy a 27-inch monitor for an office, like, it'll get everything you want done, but it hasn't got any of the niceties to it. It's got one HDMI port, and that's the only port on it that's actually useful, because I think the other one is I think there's like a fucking VGA port on or something. Like, when I want to plug in my console, I have to swap the HDMI that's plugged in right now to my PC with the other one. So, I have to, move move all of that shit around. It's just a pain in the ass. I know there's ways I could get around it, with a KVM or things like that, but I wanted the new monitor for a while anyway, so I just didn't, bother going and doing that. My secondary monitor, I literally have no idea what brand it is. Let's turn it off and turn it on because it has the logo on the screen. It is apparently a Lenovo monitor. I don't know. My secondary monitor, which is where I put OBS and all of that fun stuff that you guys don't need to see, that one is literally, I went to Officeworks. I was like, hey, show me your monitors. And I walked, so they have all of their monitors lined up in, the price range. I walked all the way to the low end and was like, that one. I'll just buy that. I didn't care. I just wanted a monitor that would that would display video. I literally did not care what I got as my secondary monitor because, it's got OBS on it. As long as I can see it, it's fine. But I've been wanting to replace this main one for a while, and Black Friday happened, and there were deals and all that fun stuff. So let's see if we can get it in a position where you guys can see it. I was showing it on stream earlier, so I think I should be able to lift up in a way you guys can see it. Here we go. I know the audio guys aren't getting anything from this, but hey, I will explain it to you. So this is the Asus TUF Gaming Curved Monitor, VG27V. What does VG27V mean? Fucked if I know. I'm gonna guess, okay? I'm gonna guess that VG means video game. 27, that's how big it is. What the V is? I have no idea. If anyone knows what the V means, I'm happy to get some help on that one. Yeah, it's not look, I didn't go out and buy a $2,000 monitor. If anyone who's looking up what the monitor is right now, it's $500-ish in Australia. At least when I bought it. Let's have a look. Asus, also because it's a monitor, it makes it very difficult to search for it. Because there'll be similar things in with they're slightly different, but they have almost the same name. It'll be one letter difference. Wait, is it V or VQ? The box says V, but the site I bought it from now says VQ. Is it actually VQ? I don't know. Anyway, I paid $500-ish. It retails normally for about $630. In the US, I guess that would put it at the $400-ish device class. So by no means, wait, what, is this a different one? Wait. Is that a different? Look, I have no idea. I found one that's way cheaper, and I don't know if they've just lowered the price after Black Friday. That would be a pain in the ass if they did that, or if it's a different I don't know. I don't know. As I said, monitor naming is a fucking mess. But I will set this up after the podcast. It's also, it doesn't say anywhere on the box, but it's also a 165 hertz monitor, which is not going to be used to its full extent for quite a while, because I don't have a graphics card that can push most games to 165 FPS. It'll be fine for like indie stuff, and if I lower down the graphic settings in a lot of games, I can get close to that, and that's what the variable refresh rate is for. So I'm excited to try this out. I'm excited to have a nice-ish monitor as my main monitor, and I've actually never used a curved monitor before. So when it comes to like new technologies, like, you know, really anything new, like a smartphone, the PS5, curved monitors, I usually adopt it way after it comes out. I'm usually the sort of I never like get the like early adopters tax. It is a very rare situation when I'm like, yes, I want to pay the extra money to get an inferior product, a less quality product, a less advanced. What's the word I'm thinking of? A less complete. Maybe that's the one. I don't like paying early adopters tax. I'm happy to just wait for stuff and just get it later. And that's what I did. Because I remember when curved monitors like first came out, and like high refresh rate, especially in the range of 165. Like I remember when like 120 was like the absolute top. You were paying like at least $1,000 to get a 120 hertz monitor. But, you know, as it gets, what's the word? As it gets made, as production increases, there we go. As production increases, costs of things come down, and eventually a lot of these things become like consumer technologies. I didn't think it would happen as quickly as it did. Maybe it hasn't been that quickly. Maybe I'm just like, I'm just shrinking down the amount of time that has happened since like curved monitors became a thing and now. But I don't feel like it's been that long. I have not had I don't know, like I've never used one before, so I don't know if it's going to be better. It could be the same. It could be worse, to be honest. Hopefully it's not worse. I would certainly like it not to be worse. I do know that curved TVs don't make any sense. I have used a curved TV before. The problem with the curved TV is TVs, as long as you know you have friends, a TV, there's only going to be a very small number of optimal viewing points when the screen is curved. With a monitor, it's fine because, you know, you're the only person looking at it. You can be at that optimal distance without any problem whatsoever. And that, like, optimal seating position. But with a TV, like, you have people sitting, like, people watch TVs already at weird angles. Like, you'll have, like, a TV in the front of the room, and then there'll be a couch, like, off to the left, and you'll be, like, looking at it from, like, a 45-degree angle. That's already bad enough with a regular TV. Doing that with, like, a curved TV, yeah, it's dumb. A curved TV is even still a thing. I know they were a thing for a bit. I don't know if, like, people... Yeah. What happened to curved TVs? Here's why they disappeared. Okay, so curved TVs basically are dead, from what we can tell. Well, I can tell right now. There's probably, like, some... Yeah, there's some new ones that do exist still, but, like, no one really cares. Like, there's no hype behind curved TVs like there was back when they were, like, first announced. Right now, the hype with TVs is sort of behind 4K and 8K. Like, I love that 8K is starting to, like, become a thing before, like, most people have 4K. And also OLED, even though OLED is, like, a bit of a fucking meme. I kind of wish that, like, people like Linus and, you know, other big tech channels would stop pushing OLED. Because no matter, like, how much time ends up going on, they're always going to have burn-in problems. They might not be as bad as, you know, they used to be, and they're certainly not as fucking bad as Plasma was, but I still would not buy a OLED TV. I have no interest in buying one. I definitely would not buy a OLED monitor. Like, there are parts of my screen that don't ever move. Things like my my status bar, for example. And I'm the sort of person who, I use a tiling window manager. So I have windows always in the exact same configuration. That right there is absolute prime real estate for burn-in. that's something that I want absolutely nothing to do with. There are ways I could avoid that with OLEDs. Like rather than having like a colored border, have like a pure black border, so borders around apps don't actually get like burnt in, things like that. And I do use a fairly dark border anyway, but I want nothing to do with OLED. It might be great. Like, I've looked at OLED screens and they look great. They have really, deep blacks because you can turn off the LEDs, all that fun stuff that OLEDs can do. But I don't think the drawbacks really make any sense. Like, I don't want to buy like a $5,000 TV and then have it basically effectively have dead pixels within like a couple of months of usage, basically. I know there are ways, especially some of the more expensive TVs, and Linus has showed this off, where you can sort of refresh the OLEDs. What it's really doing, though, is it's refreshing it in the same way that taking a block of wood and then sanding off the rough bits is refreshing a piece of wood. Basically, you're just destroying the entire panel to an equal level rather than having certain parts that are like extra destroyed. It's look, OLED, I want there to be something like micro LED. Micro LED seems like the direction that makes sense to go, but micro LED is even more expensive. Yeah. Look, I'm happy with having a backlight. Look, for the time being, I'm just happy having a backlight. If my screen's good enough, it's fine. Most of computing history have had monitors that have had backlights, so it's fine. I can deal with my backlight, and not also spend $5,000 on a TV. Speaking of TVs, I generally buy like the bottom of the barrel TVs. Like, my current TV is by some like random UK brand that nobody has heard of. It's a 4K TV, but the 4K is not very good. It's really not very good. There's not no sharpness. There's too much sharpness, and you cannot disable it. So it looks really shit. Also, it doesn't scale properly, like on my like with my Linux setup. Like, TVs are weird sometimes and don't report the correct stuff to the computer. And I haven't found a way to make the 4K actually work on this. It seems to always just be cutting off a part of the screen, which is fine for like some use case, like watching a movie. It's fine if you're losing like, a strip of pixels like this, but when it's your regular desktop, yeah, it's not a good experience when you lose like you lose half your status bar. It's one thing to lose the entire thing. That's fine. If I lose the entire status bar, well, I just don't have a status bar now. But like losing half of it, it's like, okay, this is just annoying. This is just annoying and inconvenient. But yeah. At the new place I go to, I'll have space to actually. Right now, I've said this before. Right now, my TV is effectively acting as a glorified teleprompter. Pretty much all I do with it is I have my chat there, like next to my screen. I have my notes if I need notes, and maybe I'll have like my Streamlabs elements, whatever you want to call them, notifications next to it as well. And that's pretty much all it does. There are probably ways I could deal with the having my chat somewhere that makes sense. Maybe I could like load it up on my phone or something, or I could go by like, actually, here's an option. I could go get like a secondhand tablet, like go into Gumtree or something, buy like, I don't know, $50 tablet or something like that, and basically do the same thing, because pretty much all I have in this corner is the chat. You know what? Actually, that's not a bad idea. I might do that. It's not a big deal right now because I still have the TV in the right place, but when I do move to the new place, then I'll probably do that. I wonder if we can find any tablets on Gumtree, actually. Tablets that are not iPads. Nope, we actually found tablets that are not iPads. Wait, this is the UK version of Gumtree. No, I want Gumtree Australia. Gumtree Australia. There we go. Gumtree.com.au. Protect yourself online. Let's see. Tablet. Why is it showing me trailers? Like, you'd attach to a car. $75, $50. Oh, I like that. Sounds good. Why are there so many... Wait, I was going to say why are there so many people selling tablets in Elizabeth? I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are stolen. I really would not be surprised if some of them were stolen. Murray Bridge. No, it's the same tablet we saw from before. Wait, what is this? Wait... Wait, this is at a cash converters. Oh my god, they just didn't know how to take a picture of it and they... Oh my god, that's awesome. But okay, sorry, for anyone listening to the audio right now, so someone took a product photo of a Samsung tablet. But the way they did it is they took a picture of the tablet with their phone, and you can see their phone reflected in the tablet. Also, the tablet's still in the display case with all of the other tablets. So you have the tablet as like the focus, but there's 10 other tablets on the screen as well. I love that. I love cash converters. Man, they are they are so good at doing their product photos. I knew they sold stuff online as well, but I didn't know their product photos were just that bad. Why do they have... Half of the fucking stuff on here is just cash converters. Yeah, there's more of these fucking cash converters pictures. Hey, look, they took it out of the display cabinet this time. What? Why does Cashies have so many tablets? I don't understand. They seem to be the only ones actually selling tablets. Like, everything on here has a fucking, a Cashies sticker on it. Sorry, I'm getting distracted looking at tablets being sold by cash converters. I knew they had an eBay store. I didn't know they also had a Gumtree store, but it makes sense considering that Gumtree is our most popular like local-ish secondhand market, like Craigslist would be in the US. If you want to find stuff that's like in your local area, like Gumtree is the easiest way you can do that. Like there are other services that are a bit smaller, but Gumtree is the one that most people know and the one that most people use. And if you're trying to get something sold or you're trying to buy something quickly, then you know Gumtree is generally the way you'd want to go about doing that. Now I mentioned Black Friday before. I actually bought something else. I've been wanting to buy one for a while. I bought a PS5 controller. I don't have the PS5. I just have the controller because I like trying out different controllers for PC games. And you know what? I really like this controller. Like, I looked at it and I was like, okay, you know what? It looks good. And it's probably going to be a replacement for the PS4 controller. No. I think this is going to be my new main controller. This thing feels great. The other nice thing about it is because it actually has an internal battery, unlike the Xbox controller, I don't actually run this with batteries in it. I could put them in there, and I probably should. Because I didn't realize this until I started using the PS5 controller, but the Xbox controller just feels too light without batteries in it. Look, I really like this controller. For anyone who hasn't seen it next to a... actually, I'll show you it next to an Xbox controller and next to a PlayStation controller. So... here is a PS4 controller. Actually, is there a spot we can get where I'm not blending into the background? There we go. That's PS4 controller. And there's PS5. Let's put these other way around. So we have the white one near the black background. There we go. So basically, they're fairly similar shapes. Like, everything placed on the PS4 controller is placed basically in the same... yeah, it looks like placed exactly in the same place as it is on the PS5 controller. There are some, like, slight differences with it, like the touchpad, now has, like, an angled side, and these buttons here are now also angled, and all that fun stuff. But, like, as for the buttons that matter, like the face buttons and the thumbsticks, all of those are in the same places as they always would be. I think the thumbsticks have changed a little bit. Like the PS4 thumbsticks, you probably won't be able to see it, but like on the top of the thumbstick, they sort of have like a textured finish. That texture is still there, but it's far more muted on the... Yeah, you definitely can't see it. It's far more muted on the PS5 controller, which... I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal. Like, I haven't done much with this controller. It still does have the ridge sides though, so your thumb isn't sliding off the top like it would with the old PS2 controllers, where, you know, they had the domed top. Actually, I'll show you a PS2 controller if you've never seen one. Maybe there's someone young enough watching this that's never used a PS2 controller. But there was a time where we made controllers that didn't have divots in them, and they had curved tops, which would, you know, they're great for the time, I guess, but like ultimately not very good. Like your fingers would, actually this is a third party one, but it does the same job. Your fingers would slide off the top more often than you would like them to. Anyway, besides that, the triggers are basically the same as they were on the or the triggers, and what are they called? The triggers and the not triggers? Whatever they're called. They're basically the same as they were on the PS4. The PS4, they had this little, like, plastic thingy in the middle, like this little plastic rib, and when you press one of the thingies, the triggers, it would, like, come off of that. This one, it no longer has that plastic. It's more of just, like, the entire mechanism thing moves. Only a minor change, nothing that major. They moved to USB-C finally, which I don't really care about, to be frank. Because like I still don't own many USB-C devices. One thing that probably is going to be annoying for anyone who likes to repair their controllers is they've removed the screws that used to be on the back of the PS4. Now I have no fucking clue how you would even remotely get this thing apart. There's nothing on here. Like, it seems like it's all held together maybe with clips, but I don't know. I'm sure, like, iFix has a guide on how you would tear one of these down, but... yeah, if you care about, like, replacing sticks and all that, like, I don't know where you would even begin pulling this thing apart. The Xbox One Series X doesn't have buttons either, I think. Unless there's buttons in, like, the battery cage? No, so I don't know how you'd pull this one apart either, but... yeah, PS4 is much better in that regard. But one thing I do like about the, why is it on? It's not connect. You can't connect to anything. There's nothing to connect to. One thing I do like about the new controller, you may have noticed it, but it's sort of like, it's much wider, I guess. It's not like massive. But there's like, the sides curve out. So rather than having this like flat thing that you like merge your hands to, and you end up like not really holding most of it when you hold a PS4 controller, now it's sort of like curved more the way your hands would actually hold it. It feels very comfortable to hold. I still like the Xbox controller, but it sort of has the same problem with the PS4 controller has, where like a lot of your hand just isn't touching the controller. I really still like the Xbox controller. Like, it's still really good, but the fact this thing curves with my hand, it feels great. If you have smaller hands, I feel like the PS5 controller might not be great. But at least at my hand size, it feels basically perfect. There's not really much to say about, like, the face buttons. I've got the white version, so I've got the white face buttons. I do feel kind of bad that we've sort of done away with the whole colored face buttons on the PlayStation side. I did like them. On the PS4 had them, but on all of the official controllers on the PS5, they've got these muted colors. They've got like this, I think are they all gray? I think maybe the red one's red. Also, there's a red PS5 controller. It looks ridiculous. Yeah, the buttons, I guess they're pink. It's a red, I don't know what you'd call this color, like red maroon or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, the red one and then the white one have this like two-tone color, whereas the black version is, you know, entirely, yes, we'll go with that one, entirely black. And then you have like the blue LED light basically, and that's pretty much the only color you get. So this is probably gonna be my. I was going to just make it like my controller for doing, you know, PS2 emulation, other PlayStation emulation, playing JRPGs as well, because a lot of JRPGs, especially ones that aren't especially new, only have the PlayStation prompts and don't have the Xbox prompts. But I'm honestly, I'm going to probably make this my main controller. With the exception of like really old games that only work properly with Xbox. That's pretty much gonna be what it is. Or maybe not work only with Xbox, because the Steam, what is it? Steam Direct, is it called Steam Direct Input? Whatever the Steam controller input system is, has sort of dealt with the whole you know, controllers not working thing. But some games only have, like, Xbox prompts. And if the game has Xbox prompts, like, I know where the buttons are, like, on the Xbox and on the PlayStation controller, but I would prefer them to actually, like, line up in the game. It just makes it, you know, slightly easier on my brain. I don't want to have to be thinking about, oh, wait, what button do we press to do this thing? Even though, typically, like, a lot of the buttons are going to be fairly standardized. Like, unless you're a Souls game, your jump button's going to be on X. Or unless you're Kingdom Hearts, where your jump button is on circle. Or I guess X. Sorry, B. B if you're playing on the PC version. Or I think, isn't Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Xbox? I feel like it is. Part of my brain's telling me the Kingdom Hearts 3 is on the Xbox. And I guess the prompts would be completely different if you're playing the Switch version as well. Kingdom Hearts 3... Yeah, Xbox One. Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. That makes sense. So, yeah, look, I wouldn't recommend paying full price for it. If you've got a working controller, like, there's no point buying a PS5 controller. But maybe in a couple of years, or if you see them on sale and you're thinking, hey, maybe I want to try out a newer controller, I would say pick this up. I'm really liking it, and... that's, you know, that's something. That's something. Maybe it doesn't mean much to you, but at least means something to me. Yeah. I now have, I only have 3 controllers with me right now. I only have 3 controllers that I own. I don't own any Nintendo controllers just because I don't have any desire to use Nintendo controllers. Plus, actually, that's the one thing I will use the Xbox controller for, playing like Nintendo games, because the face buttons are the same. I don't think they're not in the same order, but they are the same buttons. I don't know. Maybe I should just get a Switch controller for emulating games like that, but. Do I just buy a Switch controller for playing GBA games? That is the question. It's tempting. I was considering buying a Switch over Black Friday, but I didn't see any deals that were like, yes, this is a price that you want to pay for it. And there's only a couple of games that I really want to play on the Switch anyway. Basically just SMT5 at this point, and Cyan was bothering me to play Animal Crossing with her. But besides that, there's not really anything else that's really that appealing, I guess. Like, sure, Smash is fine. Smash is more of a party game for me, though. And actually, the new Pokemon games are kind of tempting as well. Like, now there's a couple of games where I want to play on the Switch. It's just, I have so much other stuff I haven't played anyway, that it's just like, do I want to? Or like, do I just play the existing things I have? Plus, at least at my current place, I don't really have anywhere convenient to dock it. Like, I can, dock it on my desk, but my desk is my desk is getting full of stuff. I have my cat here. My desk is getting just like full of shit right now. So I would much prefer to wait on that till I can get this TV off my desk, put it in its own spot, move stuff back. Then I'll actually have like room on this desk. Like, this desk is like 1.5 meters deep, but because of the way I've got, actually, is it 1.5? No, 1.5 doesn't sound right. That sounds like way too much. Maybe it's 1 meter deep. Yeah, it's 1 meter deep. Sorry, my bad. Definitely not 1.5 deep. It's 1 meter deep, but because of the way I've got stuff like laid out and like it's a mess. I really only have like a 50 centimeter deep desk. So sort of like 50 centimeters by, I think it's a 2 meter wide desk, which is by no means like small, but when you've got a lot of shit on your desk, it gets in the way. Some of this stuff could be moved, and some of it probably should be, like this empty can of Fanta. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of stuff on here that just, makes sense to live on the desk, like my soundboard, my monitors, things of that nature, that moving them off would just not make any sense. So I'm excited to have a lot more room. That will be really, really fun. That should be, I think it's February I need to check again, but I'm pretty sure it's February. Like mid or late February. I'm not actually sure when. I will let you guys know. I'll probably make a moving video. To be completely honest, if I can farm out views in a way like that, I might as well. Why not? Even though if no one's probably going to watch it, to be completely honest. Like, the way it's going to go is either a lot of people do or nobody does. I don't think a video like that would ever be a middling video. I feel like only extremes happen with it. Anyway, moving on from that, recently I heard about a change that was happening with Ludwig, moving over from streaming on Twitch to streaming on YouTube. Like, I know a lot of streamers have been talking about moving for quite a while, but I didn't actually expect someone like Ludwig, especially considering how big he was on Twitch, to actually move over. He's been very vocal about why he moved. Not because, partially because the platform's awful. They just weren't helping him do the things he wanted them to help him do, like, just basic shit. But also, look, YouTube's gonna offer him a lot of money. Like, he's not been shy about the fact that, there's a big deal that's happened here, and, like, it just makes sense to move. So I stream on both Twitch and YouTube because streaming on Twitch makes no sense if you're a small creator because Twitch has no growth prospects, and YouTube doesn't really just being on YouTube doesn't make any sense because YouTube doesn't have an exclusivity contract. So you might as well be other places as well. I guess I'm on DLive as well, but frankly, nobody watches me on DLive. I could just stop streaming on DLive right now and nobody would care. Occasionally, some like random DLive user, which I didn't know existed, will like come across my channel. But apart from that, nobody else does. YouTube. Okay, so YouTube is a really big platform when it comes to, the amount of people watching streams. It's a really big platform for growing your content, for doing, video content, shorts, long form stuff, all that fun stuff. What YouTube is really bad at is providing tools that make sense to streamers. If we're talking about like what is actually available to a streamer, we have both Twitch and YouTube. Let's just ignore everybody else. Like, I know Facebook gaming is a thing as well, and Facebook gaming actually is really, really big, like surprisingly so. Apparently it's pulling bigger numbers than Twitch in some cases. But we'll just go with YouTube and Twitch because those are the ones that people generally think about as the platforms they want to stream on. Twitch is years and years ahead of YouTube in what it actually offers to a streamer. So, just basic shit like moderation. The way that YouTube does moderation is so fucking ass backwards, and I don't understand how a platform as big as YouTube does not have decent moderation tools. So, as a creator, when I want to go and do some moderation, I can time someone out, I think I can time someone out, actually. I'm actually not sure if I can time them out. And I can ban them, okay? Now, that's fine. It does the job of moderation. How about we go over to Twitch? So, Twitch has, you know, banning, has timing out, all that fun stuff, but it also lets you see message history. So you can actually go back through what a person has said and see, does this person actually have a history of being an asshole, or is this a one-off thing? Then, if you're also a moderator in other places, you can then check out the history, maybe with some of your friends' channels. Maybe if they're being assholes there, you're like, well, if you're going to be an asshole to my friends, there's no point you being here either. This is one of the, like, just basic things that Twitch lets you do. It has commands to do it. You don't have to, like, manually click on stuff. Like, you can write a command out to do it. The other thing, moderators can actually see, like, chat history and stuff. It's not just the creator. I can't see any of that on YouTube. Twitch just lets anyone you've given the moderator status to actually see that stuff, actually moderate your chat well. There's, like, the whole moderator, what is it, moderator view, moderator panel, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know what Twitch calls it, but it's basically like an alternative way to actually watch a stream with having all of your, like, why the fuck did someone clip? Okay, I'm going to have to check that off. Ren clipped the section of my stream. There is the mod view. That's what it's called. This one right here. I guess I have to, like, I'll make it smaller so you guys can actually see it on my weird overlay. But, like, you can see who the moderators are, who the users are. I'm not sure what that means. I actually don't know what that means. Oh, wait, is that people in chat? That would be weird. I'm not streaming, so why would there be people in chat? You can see, like, a history of what actions were being done. So maybe you have a mod who's, like, you know, being an asshole. Maybe you have a mod who's, like, abusing their power. Robertson banned a shitload of bots. That's why there's a lot of stuff in here. And it's just all banned. This was during, like, the whole Twitch hate raids thing. But you can still, like, do all of this stuff. There's emote only. There's emote only chat. Twitch has this whole, like, idea of, like, sending emotes, like, just spamming the chat with emotes being a totally normal thing. Followers only chat. I think you can enable that on YouTube. I know you can enable a members only chat. There's slow mode, which I don't think YouTube actually has. Oh, here's the other thing. Blocked terms. So I can set blocked terms, right? I just had to look at some of the block terms, and there was, there's, like, 7 different ways of saying a certain racial epithet in there. Thank you, Robertson. I didn't realize you'd actually added that, but that's the thing. Moderators can actually add stuff to the block terms. On the YouTube side, moderators can't even see what's blocked. Like, they have no power over that whatsoever. Also, YouTube automatically filters your chat and doesn't give moderators or creators any control over that. Twitch doesn't. Twitch leaves that entirely up to the creator. So if you want your chat to be, you know, full of just absolute garbage, you can do that. And, like, Twitch does not give a shit. You should probably, like, moderate your chat because people are going to leave otherwise, but you don't have to. And all of this is just basic stuff. Twitch also is just better when it comes to, like, better when it comes to its emote system. Like, it gives you way more emotes you can set. I think there's only, like, you can only set, like, 6 emotes or something on YouTube. And hardly anyone does YouTube memberships unless you're, like, a VTuber or a really big channel. So you have that as well. You have... There are tools... I know some of, like, the Twitch streaming tools, like, the emote one... Better... No, not... Frankerface. Yeah, that one's actually started to integrate with YouTube now, so you can actually send those emotes on YouTube. But, like, Twitch is so far ahead in all of this stuff. And actually, that was just the, that was just with, like, the main moderator view. There are all of these other tabs here. There's unban requests, which for some people, you can literally turn into content. Like, there's so much stuff that Twitch lets you do from a moderator perspective that just absolutely sets YouTube to shame. How YouTube has such a bad moderation system, I don't understand. What else does Twitch have? Twitch has the point system, so if someone watches your channel, they get channel points, and those points can be used to, like, you can set up things like, oh, take a drink of water, change the song, change the game, end the stream, things like that. You can, like, set these custom things you'll do based on the channel points, rather than just having purely a monetization-based system. Like, sure, you can do all that stuff if someone donates as well, but you want to be able to reward the people who don't donate. You want to be able to reward the people who just, you know, stick around in your stream. If someone watches your stream for, like, let's say they've watched, like, 30 hours of you streaming, that person, even though they haven't donated a single cent to you, has done, like, them being in the stream has done a lot to push you in the algorithm, all of that fun stuff. They've watched ads and all of that. That person should be rewarded in some way by the platform or by the creator for actually being, like, so engaged with that content. And that's what channel points do. Channel points let you do that. But YouTube doesn't have a channel point system. They've mentioned nothing about doing it. Twitch has gifted subs, which, on it, like, gifted, like, that's such a basic thing, gifted subs. YouTube has a membership system. The only way to get a membership is to buy it yourself. But gifted subs, like, allow someone to do something like, oh, I'm gonna give back to the creator. I don't want to directly just make a donation. I want to, you know, give the people in the audience the ability to use some of the cool emotes this creator has. I'm gonna gift 5 subs. I'm gonna gift 10 subs, things like that. And I can go on all day about why Twitch's streaming system is just objectively better than YouTube. Oh, the other thing, it's just easy to fucking find a stream. So when you want to find a stream on Twitch, okay, what you do, let's say you want to watch a specific creator's stream. So you will go to that. No, don't play their stream. You will go.
Okay.
Stop it. No, I don't want to watch the Yogscast stream. You will go to that creator's channel, and then literally on the homepage, it will be right there. The stream is right there. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. It's just right there. YouTube, if you want to find a stream, you have to go. If it doesn't show up in your recommendations, you have to go to the channel, go into the video section, go into the upcoming live stream section, and then you'll see it. Unless the person, like, pins the... Actually, I should do this in my case. Unless the person pins their upcoming stream to, like, their homepage, there's no, like, convenient way to do this. It's just like, oh, yeah, well, YouTube has streams, but... Well, good luck. YouTube, okay, the other problem that YouTube has in regards to streaming is because it does its streaming based on an event system rather than Twitch, where it has... How would you describe Twitch's system? Twitch is more of like a... It's just go live whenever. Yeah, I guess that's how you'd put it. Twitch is go live whenever. YouTube has an event system. You have to schedule a stream and then start the stream like that. If you start a stream straight away, it will, like, automatically make the event for you. So even if you don't bother with it, like, it will still do that. But by having this event system, what it allows YouTube to do is automatically use the same ID and use that same event page to then be the video page. So if I, like, stream... Actually, I'll show you. Like, for example, if I go to my gaming channel, the stream I did today. So when this stream was live, the way you'd watch this stream is by going to this page. But then when the stream is over, the way you would watch the VOD is by also going to this page. Now that's fine in the case of VODs being incredibly important. But if I want to go and find a stream, what YouTube should be doing is they should have, like, an extra thing on the channel page. Maybe it's something like, you know, the channel name slash channel ID rather than slash videos slash live slash stream slash live stream, whatever. And it just takes you to whatever live stream the channel is currently doing. It's not going to make you fiddle around with, oh, you want to like go into the video, you want to go to live stream, and you want to find all that stuff. No, it'll just take you to whatever the channel is currently streaming, because 99% of channels are only going to have a single stream going at once. They're not going to have, you know, like 3 or 4 streams. And if they do, you could just make it so that page lists out all the streams they have available, and then you can go to one of the pages or one of the streams like that. That's like basic stuff. Just basic stuff to make the experience better is all YouTube needs to do. And I hope that if you, like, with YouTube caring about bringing over a big streamer like Ludwig, because Ludwig is still pulling big numbers. A lot of people said, oh, Ludwig would just die off. And yeah, he probably will lose, a lot of subs by doing this. Not lose a lot of subs, he'll lose a lot of viewers by doing this. But he's still right now pulling like 57,000 viewers. Because, look, Lud, even though he is, like, mainly a Twitch streamer, has 2 million subs on YouTube. Like, he's by no means a small creator on the YouTube platform. So, like, he can bring in live viewers. 600k views on the stream he did 6 hours ago. This had 60k viewers, like, when I was just watching it at a random point. And it probably had more at different points in the stream. So I hope that with YouTube caring about people like Ludwig, that, you know, they actually try to address some of this stuff. I know they have addressed, or they've said they're going to address some things. I talked about this a few weeks back. See if we can find it again. YouTube live stream news. Live stream update. I can't remember what it... No, I can't find it now. Yeah, there was some improvements coming to streaming, but still, we're missing a lot of the stuff that... We're still missing a lot of the stuff that YouTube really needs to do. Just to bring it up to the level that Twitch is at. It doesn't... Like, even just... I don't care if YouTube surpasses the level that Twitch is at when it comes to streaming tools. I just want it to be at least at the same level. If it's at the same level, that at least gives us something to actually work with, and then we can move forward from there. And I hope that YouTube does start to, like, pay attention to that if they want to bring in these contracts, but look, knowing the direction YouTube's been going, I wouldn't be surprised if they just don't care. If they're like, oh, well, it's fine, we'll bring the streamer over and, well, hey, we have a streamer here. Well, it doesn't matter. They're bringing in the views, they're bringing in the money, who cares? Because we care about corporate instead. We're just not going to worry about improving any of this stuff. I have heard mentions of some sort of extension. I don't know what this extension is. Coming from, like, the Ludwig side. He keeps mentioning it as well. Wait, is this it? Okay, no, that's a that's a different extension. That is an extension. That is a typing extension. Okay. Ludwig is making Ludwig's not making anything. Ludwig is paying a contractor. Ludwig's making an extension to combine YouTube and Twitch subs. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if we know too... Yeah, we don't really know too much about it from what seems to be public. As well as... Okay, so Ludwig reveals a new YouTube extension. As well as moving platforms from Twitch to YouTube, Ludwig announced a new extension that aims to improve the streaming experience on YouTube. Oh, I'm not showing... Okay, I'm not showing it to you. Introducing things like channel points and secrets and surprises for fans. That sound... Look, if Ludwig... Okay, why that video... Oh.
This is how you order all...
Ah, it's taking you to this one. Okay. If that brings over... Like, if he makes an extension that does this, look, people already use extensions to make Twitch better anyway. I don't think this is that far-fetched to allow something like this, to do something like this. Like, people already use things like Better Twitch TV and Frankerface Z, so having a thing, like, from Ludwig doing that as well, honestly, it doesn't seem that, it doesn't seem that unlikely that people will actually use it. Especially, like, in the gaming space. Maybe in, like, other spaces, it wouldn't be as likely to be used, but I feel like, especially, I hope that it's made open source, because if it is, I'll have to check out why I left Twitch video. I doubt he mentions it, but if it is made open source, I will absolutely be promoting it on my channel and pushing it as hard as possible, because look, if YouTube's not going to fix their shit, hey, maybe the community should fix their shit for them. On that note, I did talk about the whole return YouTube dislikes extension. If anyone who doesn't know about that one, it's a fucking meme, and people keep telling me about how it's so great and how it's going to return YouTube dislikes, and oh my god, it's like, it's the future. Even when YouTube removes the dislikes, oh wow, this is going to keep them here because we can fucking pull numbers out of our ass. Basically what this extension is going to attempt to bring back dislikes to YouTube. Currently, the way it works is by basically calling the YouTube API, the API that has not been removed yet, which will be removed on December 13th, calls that API and just grabs the numbers. So right now, it is working because it is literally just using YouTube to do it. And that's fine. Like, a lot of people still have access to dislikes, and that, even when they don't have access to them, YouTube's always going to take, like, a bit of time to fully roll out any changes, because maybe they're using some stuff internally that they want to change out as well, and all of that fun stuff. They want to give projects that are, like, working with the API some time to update, and yeah, you know how it goes. But after the API is removed, this is where a lot of people were starting to, like, argue with me about how this extension is so great, and oh wow, it's super fantastic. Basically, what their plan is after the API is removed is to, before the API is removed, every time they get some dislike data, they will go and archive that. They will archive it, have it all in the database, so that when, you query for it, they don't always have to query the YouTube API. They can sometimes query their database, because the YouTube API is obscenely expensive for fucking no reason at all. But anyway, they're going to have all of this data archived. So any videos that were archived, they're just going to have whatever their last dislike rating actually was. So if you have a video that has, like, 10,000 likes and 100 dislikes, for example, that video until the end of time is going to have 10,000 likes. Oh, I guess the likes are going to go up, but the dislikes will always say there was 100. Now, obviously, this won't work on new videos because you don't have data on them. So what they plan to do is extrapolate. This is where people get into a dumb argument with me and trying to tell me why I'm wrong. Some people are telling me why I'm wrong while literally agreeing with me, which is, honestly, if you want one way to annoy me, explain to me why I'm wrong while using the argument that I said in the video. Explain to me why my opinion in the video is wrong while telling me what I said in the video and agreeing with what I said. That's a good way to annoy me. Anyway, what was I saying? Dislikes, right, new videos. So what the plan is they will take the average of the channel history and also average based on, what a video of that views will likely get as a like to dislike ratio, and then basically extrapolate out that data. Now, this has, obvious problems, where what if there is a bad video and, like, that's obviously going to then be given a good rating, even though it's a bad video, and under typical circumstances, it would have a massive dislike ratio. So what they plan to do instead is also include user interaction. So basically, the extension will have some way for users to go and like and dislike the videos inside of the extension itself. So you could find this, like, random tutorial, and that tutorial is, out of date, or whatever reason you have to dislike it. Maybe you just don't like the creator's voice. And then you dislike the video, and then it will use that information alongside all of the other information to basically calculate what the dislike ratio should be. Now, where I have a problem with this is that this information is not going to be representative of the platform whatsoever. While you can certainly normalize the data and work out what the bias would be based on the fact that people are using an extension with the sole purpose of disliking. So obviously those people are going to be more primed to actually go and dislike than the general population. Because like, if you don't care about disliking, you're not going to download an extension to dislike. That just doesn't make any sense. So while you can certainly normalize that data and make sure that bias isn't too extreme, it sort of falls apart in those more videos where they are they are bad videos that have really negative ratings, because by normalizing this data, you're going to end up sort of flattening out what that rating would have been. It's not actually going to be a true representation of the way that people actually view the video. I think this extension is great in the case of archival purposes. If you want to have old videos or have like to dislike ratios preserved, that's fine. Because most of the time, except with tutorials, I guess, where they eventually become old, most of the time a like to dislike ratio is fairly set on a video after like the first week or so. Like, while the numbers may increase, the ratio stays about the same. And for old videos, that's fine. But when it comes to new content, I really don't think the extension has any business actually trying to extrapolate out this data. Because, look, at the end of the day, the numbers that it's going to produce are going to be about as useful as me making an extension that just generates a random number. Like, this video has 10 billion dislikes. It's fine, it probably doesn't, but hey. It has 10,000 dislikes now. The other problem I do have with it is a lot of people are telling me, oh, but it's only a problem for people using the extension. It's not a thing that's going to be shared with the rest of the platform. That doesn't mean that, like, the fact that it's only a problem for people using the extension doesn't mean that it's not a problem. Like, just because people are going out of their way to have bad data doesn't mean I can't criticize the bad data. You'll have, like, if you don't care about the fact that the data it's going to produce is going to be completely wrong, and only in cases where the video is, like, performing like it normally would, even remotely represent reality, that's fine, you can do that. But I'm going to come out and tell people why they should be incredibly cautious of using an extension like this, because it's not actually doing what a lot of people are saying it's going to do. It is going to give you numbers that somewhat replicate reality for normal videos. But a like to dislike ratio only matters in the case of the outliers. Like, take a review for a set of reviews for a restaurant, for example. You don't care about the reviews for a restaurant unless they are exceptionally bad or exceptionally good. If the reviews are like, hey, it has like 3.5, 4 stars, like, okay. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't care about that. If it has nothing but 5 stars, or it has like a shitload of 1 stars, that's where there's a problem. Because if there's a lot of like negative reviews, that's going to be indicative of either it has been review bombed, or it actually is just a shit business and you'd never want to go there. And if it has nothing but 5 stars, you're like, wait. Why does it have nothing but 5 stars? Are they deleting reviews? Is it actually the best business on the entire planet? Are all of these reviews fake? What is the deal here? So I just don't think this extension makes sense to use. I think the only way it could make sense is if the other thing they want to do to make sure the data is, possibly accurate is get creators to share their like to dislike ratios and their dislike amounts with the extension. YouTube has like a private API to allow you to do this. and that's not actually going to be removed. So if I use my authentication credentials, I could still get the dislikes for my video through the YouTube API. It's just that publicly you wouldn't be able to with like the regular credentials you would have. And then you would have like some way to share that with the extension, and you know, it would then, if you did that, then you would have accurate information. But I just don't see any way where an extension that I think it last time I checked it had like 80,000 users would be able to convince any actual creators to share that information. Let's see if I can find the Chrome store. That's Firefox, Chrome. It currently has 100,000 plus users. So it does have like 100,000 users. Like, that's cool. That's also less than DT has in subscribers. And DT doesn't have a massive channel. Like, it just... Goddamn. Here's hoping YouTube does something reasonable and brings back a core feature like dislikes. What's most ridiculous is that on several accounts recently, YouTubers asked me to rate videos I watch 1 to 5 stars. That's, yeah, that's, I think this person's confused about what that 1 to 5 star rating is. Works as advertised. No, it doesn't. It literally will not work as advertised. Give it 2 weeks. I'm waiting for all of the... I'm probably going to check this back in about 3 weeks and see what the like to dislike ratio actually is. Because it's going to be hilarious when the ratio... When this complete 5-star ends up being, like, 2-star. Because you're like, why is this not working anymore? It said it was going to work. Why is it not working? I'm just waiting. I am very, what's the word? I'm very happy to be wrong. I am incredibly happy to be wrong, but I really don't think I'm going to be. I really don't think I'm going to be wrong. And if I am, that's cool. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, and this extension works great. But I just don't see any way that I can be in this case. Now look, there's no way that I can escape a single episode without, at least to some extent, talking about Final Fantasy XIV, especially because I finally finished the 2.0 content of A Realm Reborn. I guess it is like, of course it's like Realm Reborn content if it's 2.0, but I finished the like initial content, or the initial MSQ content for A Realm Reborn. Okay. So what do I have to say about Realm Reborn? At least, like, obviously, like, first part. I still haven't done the rest of it up until Heaven's Ward. I'll do that at some point. Right now, I'm actually, like, I'm leveling alt jobs, and I might swap out the main job I'm doing, like, going to the next bit, but at least right now, I'm still maining Paladin. I've been trying out Thaumaturge, or Black Mage. It's not a Black Mage just yet, but soon it will be. I like Black Mage. Black Mage's a lot of fun. Queue times are fucked, but I'll talk about queue times in just a bit. I feel like the ending of 2.0 was fairly anticlimactic. So we introduce all of these new characters fairly close to the end, like was it Gaius, Nero, what were the other ones? Give me 1 second. FF14. There was one more, wasn't there? There was at least one more. Maybe there was another. But, like, they were just sort of introduced out of nowhere. And it's just like, oh, well, we defeated them. I know they come back. Like, they come back in some extent later, but, like, they just showed up, sort of, like, they got introduced doing stuff in the background, not really, you wouldn't really find out what they were doing, it's like, oh, okay, they're gone. And the other problem the other problem I had with the way they were dealt with is because look, FF14 has level scaling in its dungeons. But over the years, the level scaling has been, how do we say, not perfect. And all of the like all of those big Garlean boss content in A Realm Reborn are fucking easy now. Like, you don't even, I'm pretty sure you could get through most of it without your tank doing anything. You don't need a tank because they're just they are joke fights. Cape Westwind is like the biggest one, but even fighting like Gaius and Nero, both of those are just absolute. Olivia, that's the other one. Like, all of those are just an absolute joke, and it feels fairly anticlimactic because of that. Like, the ending of 2.0 is great. I love the ending, especially with the introduction. Like, oh look, there's more primals, and oh shit, everything's crashing down. Oh no, the calamity's happening again. Like, all of that's fucking hype, and I'm very excited to play through the rest of the content. But like, those last two dungeons you do, Castrum Meridanum and Praetorium, they wouldn't. They're not great to run when you're trying to fucking farm stuff, and they're just also they're equally not as good when it comes to the story. I feel like there should have been a long cutscene before the dungeon and a long. Can I just tell you how many fucking cuts? There are so many cutscenes in Castrum Meridanum and fucking Praetorium. Oh my god, the cutscenes are ridiculous. So, okay, I'm fine with cutscenes in a dungeon. Being an 8-man dungeon, it's also going to be a longer dungeon as well. But holy shit, there are so many cutscenes. So there are situations where you will go into a cutscene, you will run about like fucking 10 steps, and it's like, oh, new cutscene, this one goes for 5 minutes now, enjoy. I don't want to spoil anything. Like, I'm gonna have to say spoiler because I am talking about the ending of Realm Reborn, but I'm gonna try not to be like super spoiler if anyone happens to watch this section by accident. But defeating, actually no, here's the part I was gonna say. Right, you defeat one of the bosses, you run to get yourself one of like the Magitech armor, and then like, so the boss has a cutscene. Run to the armor, cutscene there, then you run for like another 5 minutes, another cutscene, run for another cutscene. There's so many fucking cutscenes. I haven't timed it out, but I have a feeling I could watch an entire episode of an anime in between the cutscenes in Praetorium. I feel like the amount of cutscenes sort of, that's the other thing that really dampens the hype of going through those dungeons, because I sort of expect when you go through a dungeon, you know, you're gonna do dungeon stuff. There may be a couple of cutscenes, but it's not gonna be like literally 20 plus minutes of cutscenes. And not 20 plus minutes in like one stretch, 20 plus minutes in between stuff. I still enjoyed, I enjoy the majority of Realm Reborn. I think Realm Reborn is still a really great expansion. I haven't played the rest of it, but I think like the original 2.0 stuff is still really good. But it didn't feel like those dungeons didn't feel like a good way to end off 2.0. Can we talk about Cape Westwind? I want to talk about Cape Westwind. So Cape Westwind is a trial you do to fight one of the other people that chill out with Gaius. Cape Westwind is sort of like, it's this Cape Westwind is honestly the best trial in the entire game. So early on in the game, there's technically mechanics. Like back when Realm Reborn came out, there were technically mechanics. The mechanics do not exist anymore. The mechanics still are there, but they don't exist. So because of the way like ability scaling stuff's happened, you can like go through the entire fight and he won't actually activate any of his mechanics. He just dies. He just dies. He's just nothing happens. I had a great experience going through that trial though. So I had a party that saw, hey look, this guy is a sprout that's never run Cape Westwind before, and they trolled the fuck out of me. So while the cutscene was going, they'd all skip the cutscene and spammed the chat with like this fucking this ultimate, like the sort of strategy you'd have running like the Epic of Alexander, things like that. It was this like wall of text. They had all of these markers on the ground to indicate where you were supposed to stand, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this fight? I was so confused. I was like, this is going to get me killed. This is horrible. Why? This is gonna be so difficult. Go into the fight. I'm like, what? Wait, it ended in like a minute. Like, wait, what? The fight's over? What do you mean it's over? And everybody just left. Like, wait, what just happened? Cape Westwind, honestly, it's such a fun raid. Because it was a fun trial, because it's just always, from what I can see, full of people just trolling. And the fact that it doesn't even make sense that Cape Westwind is an 8-man. Because there's, like, when you have an 8-man dungeon, or when you have an 8-man trial, you have an 8-man dungeon, anything like that, there's going to be reasons why you have 2 tanks. Like, there might be little things that appear on the ground, you have to grab aggro from them while your main tank is still aggroing the main enemy. But, like, there's not. Maybe there's supposed to be, but because he dies so quickly, it just doesn't matter. You just go full AoE and the fight just ends. The funny thing with yeah, here we go. I found it. So this is what someone fucking posted. This is basically what someone posted in chat. I'm just like, what is this? What the hell am I looking at? I have no idea what you're even saying. Oh my lord. I look, it was very fun. I had a good chuckle. I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe like it was like we just got through it easily somehow. I went onto YouTube and I saw that Rich Campbell actually had the exact same experience happen to him as well. Like the way it was structured was a little bit different. But like basically the result the result is pretty much the same. He got trolled there as well. And it seems like a lot of people basically a lot of streamers basically saying the same thing. I kind of wish I'd streamed Cape Westwind. I actually waited, like, so I'm playing a tank right now. I waited longer in the queue than actually getting through the fucking trial. I think the trial took, like, I think I was in queue for like 10 minutes. Trial took no time at all. So I certainly enjoyed that. Speaking of the final 3-ish or so dungeons and trials and stuff, I was playing through Praetorium. I've been doing my MSQ roulettes to get my tomestones to buy my Ironworks gear. And I ran across some cheaters in Praetorium. So, as I mentioned, Praetorium has these insanely long cutscenes. And you're supposed to watch them, or at least like have them playing. Like you can go do something else, like you can watch some anime while it's happening, but like they have to be on your screen. There's no way to skip them. The reason why you can't skip them is because, you know, these are the conclusion of 2.0. You don't want to have people pushing sprouts through the end game content and just ignoring all of the story. Like, this is the conclusion to the first expansion. So you sort of want people to actually experience it properly. It does get annoying afterwards. I kind of would like the option, like, if everybody has seen it, just let people skip it. But it's fine, I guess. I guess if they let people skip it, running it would be way too quickly. If you get your Ironworks gear in like an hour, like the only reason it takes like 8 hours or so to get your Ironworks gear is because like you have to watch fucking 20 minutes of cutscenes every time. The dungeon will only be like 10 minutes long without the cutscenes. But there is actually an exploit in Praetorium. I didn't know about this beforehand, so I thought it was just some like weird thing where somehow people were skipping the cutscenes. But in Praetorium and Cape Meridanum, if you close the game, like you force close the game and you relog, it actually skips the cutscenes and let you just run straight into the dungeon. Like run straight into the boss. So I had some situations where I went from cutscene to cutscene with the boss instantly dying. I was like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. I sadly didn't get the names because I know that is actually a reportable offense. And I don't know if anyone's got banned for it, but it is definitely against the rules. And if you do see anyone doing that while you are running Praetorium, then tell them to stop. And if they try to like encourage you to do it, hey, look, they've literally encouraged you to cheat. Just report them then and there, and then the mods can deal with it and deal with their bullshit shenanigans. They didn't cheat through every single one of them, but they did cheat through a couple of them. Some of like the earlier bosses. I don't know why they didn't cheat through the later ones, to be completely honest, because you could still run Gaius and Ultima Weapon and La Habrea without a full party. Like, none of those fights are difficult. You could, yeah, you'd easily run them 4-man if you really want to, especially if you have your tank. But yeah, running into cheaters in those places seems fairly common. Like, it's not as, like, it doesn't happen in other dungeons, because other dungeons you can just skip the cutscenes, or you can at least vote to skip. Voting to skip is perfectly fine. But not having the option altogether is going to lead to some people finding exploits. But this exploit's been in the game at least for 2 years. I found forum posts going back at least that long, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back further. FF14 Praetorium cutscene exploit. Let's see if I can find stuff going back further. Yeah, I see people. Oh, there's posts going back to 2018. Right, no, sorry, it would go back to 2018 because that's when it was changed. Right. It was changed during whatever expansion was out at the time. Not an exploit, or it would have been fixed years ago. You have no idea how annoying it is forcing you to... No, it's literally... Forcing you to watch cutscenes for MSQ roulette. No, that's literally... You've literally explained an exploit. Right, it was changed in 4.1. 4.1 would have been... Heaven's Ward was 3, so... Stormblood. It was changed during a Stormblood patch. But... So it seems like basically since the patch was made, people have been using this exploit, and I don't really know why Square hasn't fixed it. Like, that would be a very easy fix. They've literally already got a fix there in trials and other stuff like that. Put a fucking barrier around the people. Like, if you go run like Ifrit, Garuda, whatever trial you want to do, when someone's in the cutscene, it actually puts all of you in this barrier that there's no way to escape. That would be all they need to do. They literally have a system built into the game to make this happen. So just put people into this barrier and don't let them leave until the cutscene's over. So even if they skip the cutscene, they're just stuck there, like, staring at the ceiling for 10 minutes anyway. That, I feel like, would be honestly, just a funny way to deal with it, to be completely honest. But people have been talking about this for so long. I do hope this gets dealt with at some point. But judging by the fact that it's been there for 3 years, probably won't be. Okay, so I feel like the reason why they haven't, like, instantly added it to, like, the TOS and you can't do it straight away is like there are legitimate reasons why you might need to, close the client. Maybe you disconnect your internet. Like for whatever reason you lose internet during a cutscene. Like that's possible. But that's why I think there should be that barrier. Or maybe just be really funny and send you back to the start of the dungeon. Like, you have to just run all the way back. I think that would be a funny way to deal with it as well. But at this stage, yeah, nothing's being done. There's something else I was going to say, but I don't know what it was. Something about Praetorium, I believe. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say about it. Speaking of running dungeons, though, I had this very amusing encounter during Copperbell Mines. So Copperbell Mines is one of the very, very early dungeons. Like, it's one of the dungeons that's there to teach you, like, what a dungeon actually is. It's one of the story dungeons. It's a very, 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 very easy dungeon to run. Like, there's not supposed to be any challenge running this dungeon. But so the final boss of Copperbell Mines is there's also a hard version of it, I guess. But the final boss of Copperbell Mines it's interesting. Because on easy mode, the normal mode you run, it technically has mechanics, but I don't know what those mechanics are, because they don't seem to exist. What I mean by this is, like with Cape Westwind, as the game's gotten older and older, scaling's changed quite a bit. And during this fight, he has a big hammer, he's trying to, like, smash the wall and do something, right? Now, if you have your entire party just focusing on DPS, then he will spawn another one when it gets to, like, his second stage. And that other giant will go smash another wall. That giant will go off and do its own thing. It doesn't matter. Now, you just keep DPSing. Now, before any of the walls get broken, you just win. Like, the fight just ends. I have no idea what the mechanic actually is. I probably should run this dungeon solo just to find out what the hell it actually does. Because there's literally no way that I have seen, if everybody is doing their rotation properly, even if they're not doing it properly, even if they're just doing, like, auto attacks, and you have, like, just one of your DPS attacking the boss dies before any mechanics actually happen. It's just like, why are there even mechanics in the fight? Just make the boss just stand in the center of the room and not move. It's basically the same thing. But to be honest, all of those, like, all three of actually, no, sorry. Two of them. Tamcroft doesn't have this problem. But Sastasha and Copperbell Mines both have this problem where the mechanics just don't happen. Like, I think sometimes one mechanic does happen in Sastasha. Like, it'll spawn, like, an extra enemy. But I've actually never attacked that enemy. I play a tank, and I just don't bother aggroing it. Because by the time it spawns it, there's, like, maybe 5 attacks worth of health left in the boss, and it just dies. Tamcroft doesn't have that problem, because in Tamcroft, it does the mechanics around, I think, like, 3/4 health or half health. It'll spawn these things that will make the boss invincible. You have to go deal with those and, like, fun stuff. But yeah, it's kind of funny watching these early fights, and you do these early fights a lot. Like, if you run your duty roulettes, you will run these fights a lot, and then you start leveling up alt jobs. When your alt jobs are low level, you're only gonna have these low level dungeons in your roster. You see them so often. But even when you're at level 50, because there are so many people like starting the game right now, there are so many people running those early dungeons. You learn Copperbell, Tamcroft, and Sastasha like the back of your hands. And I've sort of been using those dungeons to, like, experiment with the way that I tank. Like, I've been a fairly cautious tank up until this point, basically doing one pull at a time. But when I tried out DPS, like, here's one of the fun things about trying out alt jobs, and especially alt roles. Alt roles, I think, is where you start seeing, like, an interesting dynamic and an interesting way you can sort of improve your own gameplay. You get to see how other people actually approach that role. Like, when I'm not tanking, I pay a lot of attention to what the tank is actually doing, and I've noticed a lot of tanks, especially in these early dungeons, do, like, double or triple pulls, no problem whatsoever. And really, you can do that. Like, there's no real problem with it. Like, as long as your healer, like, is awake and is pressing the cure button sometimes, like, there's no way you can really die in these early dungeons. I don't think I've ever seen anybody die unless it was... No, I think I did see a DPS run like halfway through the dungeon without just not worrying about me tanking anything, and they just died. Like, okay, well, you kind of did that one to yourself. But as long as you're like, as long as the people in, because they are designed to introduce the concept of a dungeon, as long as people are like somewhat doing something, it's fine. It's pretty much fine. I'm excited to eventually do the hard versions of these, because it looks like, you know, mechanics actually do end up happening, and you may actually have to worry about things. I'm actually excited to do a lot of the hard mode content, even though I hear it's not actually, like, difficult. It would be nice to actually have a challenge in some of the dungeons. There are some dungeons, like, even in, like, the regular normal set, which have been more complicated than others. What was it called? FF14. Let's go to FF14 dungeons. Was it Stone Vigil is the one with the dragon, I believe. Aurum Vale is a joke. No one cares about Aurum Vale. Desamile. Yeah, Desamile Darkhold. This one I have made mistakes in before. Basically, the mechanic here is there will be these like glowing crystals, and when you stand in the crystals, you will be able to like actually damage the boss. Like when the boss is standing in the crystals, you actually be able to damage the boss. And I think you take less damage when you're in the crystals as well. So basically, the mechanic is you just run between the crystals. Also, Sunken Temple of Khan. This one just has, like, an annoying puzzle mechanic, and I sometimes forget, like, what to actually put onto the scales. Yeah, you have to put, like, these two, I guess, tablets onto the scales, and then you will, like, unlock the rooms you need to unlock, things like that. Also, one of the bosses had... Oh, he does have an instant death mechanic. Oh! I have died on this boss before, and I never really knew why I died. Oh, you stand on a stone. Oh, that's what those stones are for. Okay, I'm just dumb. Okay, that makes sense. But most of the early dungeons are fairly simple. I actually, like, I've been really enjoying doing dungeons, to be completely honest. Like, even though, you know, running dungeons isn't the primary, like, the primary thing, I guess, in this game. I still, like, really, 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 really enjoy it. Like, I know there's so much other cool stuff you could be, like, they could be doing outside of dungeons, but, like, just doing, like, PvE content, I feel like is actually great. I do feel like it's, like, really, really cool. As much as I enjoy the other stuff as well. I actually enjoy a lot of solo content, to be honest. Like, I'm one of those people who goes to, like, the gold saucer and just sits in the gold saucer doing solo stuff. Like, I will do things like farming out, like, chocobo racing, for example, and just do that for hours and hours and hours on end. And I have many a times, and I will keep doing so because it's always fun. I need to do more, what's the word? Shit, what is the word? I don't know. We're gonna move on from that. We're gonna move on from that. Wait, there's this the hard version of Sestasha? Hold up, there's a hard version of Sestasha. I have to see what this one is like. Oh, I think I've actually got the quest for this one. I think I have the quest unlocked for that one. I wonder if it's actually defeat the Kraken. There's a Kraken now? There's a Kraken? Wait. Oh. Oh, okay, no. Right, that's the same thing as the Okay, I didn't realize that was a Kraken. Oh, wait, no, there's a different boss than it was there before. Yeah, no, that is, because it's only there in the hard version. I wonder if these... this gear looks any good. I'll have to have a look at that afterwards. Wait, even though it's a higher level dungeon, a lot of the gear is the same as what drops in another dungeon. Huh. Even when it's a level 50, Sestasha can't get away with, or can't get away from, not having any of its own unique gear, I guess. Oh, that's rough. But, like, gear doesn't really matter at this point. What matters is, you know, you get the gear at this point because you think the gear looks cool. Because by the point you're running this, you're going to start getting things like your Ironworks gear. I guess I could, look, I could just skip Ironworks gear and just go all the way up to, like, the later game gear. You don't need the Ironworks stuff, but, like, it is convenient, and it's not difficult to grind out. I think, I don't know how many tomestones it costs to get them. Basically, every time you run one of these level 50 dungeons or level 60 dungeons, you'll get tomestones. And at least running, like, MSQ roulette, you get so many from running MSQ roulette that, you get it done, especially if you run it when you're a job in need. So you run it as basically you run as a tank or healer. The DPS is never in need because everybody plays DPS. But you run as a tank or a healer, whatever it says you need to run, and you get, I think, 500 tomestones from Praetorium, and that's enough to buy 3 pieces of jewelry, or 1.5 pieces of armor, which already clears out a good portion of the gear you need to collect. So getting all of that, like, ends up just not being difficult whatsoever. And definitely in my case, I'm not having any problems with it. I haven't got the full set yet. I'm still missing, like, the armor. I've got all the jewelry at this point. At least except for the earrings. I didn't grab the Ironworks earrings because I'm running the what is it? You get it for pre-ordering Endwalker. There's like a below level 80, you get an experience boost when you kill enemies. And I don't actually know what the most efficient way to level in this game actually is. But from my experience, it honestly just seems to be running dungeons and killing the enemies there. Because most enemies you'll kill, like, drop a couple thousand experience. Especially with this earring on. And then you've got your boost from your food as well. There's probably better and more efficient ways to level, but, like, I haven't found leveling, at least at this point, to be something of concern. I guess I'm not trying to level to the max level I can level to, so it's not been a big deal. I'm not trying to get all of my alt jobs to level 80 just before Endwalker, things like that. I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, I'm at level 57 or whatever on my paladin. I'm at level 22 on my black mage. I'll just get the levels up as I get them up. Maybe I'll go try out another alt job. Maybe I'll go try out, like, a scholar or a white mage or something like that. And see how that goes. I do want to try out the other roles. So even though DPS is, like, one role, there are, like, sub roles in the DPS. So you have your magical, you have your magic ranged, your melee DPS, and then physical ranged. Also, obviously, I'll play a healer. I don't know, as I said, I don't know what healer I'm going to play. Maybe, like, I kind of want to do white mage, but, like, all of the healers look pretty cool. Obviously, I'll play Sage at when it comes out and I actually get to level 80, but that's like a long way away still at this point. As for like the melee DPS, I'm probably they all look pretty cool, to be honest. But I'll probably play Samurai just because I'm a fucking weeb. And I like Samurai. Samurai looks cool. As for the physical ranged DPS, maybe a Machinist? Maybe. I might do Machinist. Machinist looks cool. But honestly, all of them look cool. And I will play them all at some point. It's just a matter of when. I also want to do Red Mage, because even though Black Mage and Red Mage are in the same category, but Black Mage and Red Mage are still, like, so different in what they do. Even Summoner, like, even though they're all magical range DPS, all the magic range DPS are very, very, very different classes. Like, you can sort of say the same thing about melee DPS as well, but, like, what I mean by this is the utility of a Black Mage is the utility doesn't exist. I guess that's the same for the Samurai, but the Red Mage has heals, for example, and the Summoner has its like pet thing as well, which does other fun stuff. I don't know if I'll try out another tank anytime soon. If I do, maybe Dark Knight or Gunbreaker. Warrior looks fun. Like, all of them look fun. But I might go... I know Gunbreaker is a very scary one for a healer because they have an ability... What is it called? Where is... Super Bolide, where you just kill yourself. But also, I guess Dark Knight also is a thing where you kill yourself as well. Reduces HP to 1 and renders you impervious to most attacks. Until the duration's over in 8 seconds and you die. So you better have a healer that pays attention, otherwise you are dead. And then Dark Knight as well, like their ability is die, and you get, like, an extra thing. You get, like, a dude that will help you out. Living Dead is what it is, I believe it was. Grants the effect of Living Dead. When HP is reduced to 0 while under the effect of Living Dead, instead of becoming KO'd, your status will change to Walking Dead. This one seems like a really difficult one to use with, like, regular... Like, with just random parties. It's a really cool ability, but, like, I don't know how you would get yourself to die with just, like, a regular party. Because, like, most healers, unless they know about Living Dead, wouldn't let you die, I guess. You would have to be in a group that sort of knows... Like, you need to have a healer that knows about Living Dead to like, actually let you even use it. Super Bolide at least has the advantage of you will use it even if your healer doesn't help you and lets you die straight after it finishes. But you can at least use it. For better or worse, I will say. And now we're in the final quarter of the podcast. I've still got so many topics on my list that I could probably go on for like another hour and a half if I really wanted to. But we will not do that, I will say. What I literally had an idea before I started recording, and then I forgot what I was going to say as soon as I started. What the hell was I going to say? It was prompted by something I saw on my Discord, but now I don't remember what it was, and now I feel really dumb. Yes, right. It's that one. So, Redo of Healer. Redo of Healer is a series that, got a lot of people fairly angry. I like Redo of Healer. It's a very fun series. Go watch it. Go watch it with the parents, and go watch it with your grandmother, and she will enjoy it. She'll definitely enjoy it. But there is another series airing this season, actually. That being, let me find the full Japanese name. Sekai Saiko no Ansatsha Isekai Kizoku no. I can't speak. I've been doing this podcast for an hour and a half already. Kizoku ni tensei suru. There we go. I got through it eventually. Too much speaking today. The world's finest assassin. See, I can't even speak English, let alone Japanese. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Sekai Saiko no Ansatsha Isekai Kizoku ni Tensei Suru. There we go. Got through it eventually with horrible pronunciation. Anyway, this is something airing this season. It's also a very good series. Good in different ways. But I didn't realize that the author of these two series is the same. Someone told me this on my Discord just before, and I was like, no, bullshit, you're making that up. Actually, like, now that I think about it, I can't show you the entire page. There's TOS here, but that's fine. You can see that part. But yeah, the author, same between both of the series. They do share some similar themes, and if you've seen Redo of Healer, you may have some idea about what I'm saying. I'm not saying the most extreme of those themes. Basically, so it's an isekai, once again. It shares the whole, manipulating people thing. Not to the same level, not literally hypnotizing them, but still manipulating people. But I think this series is actually way better. I think what helps Ansatsu Kizoku actually be like a much better series is the fact that it's animated by a good studio. So this series is by Silverlink. Silverlink, I love Silverlink. Silverlink is an amazing studio. They've got so many absolute bangers. They've got some things that are like not bangers as well, but like Rakudai Kishi is a great series. Kokoro Connect, also great. Masamune, great. Baka to Test, which is something that aired years ago, but is still a great series today. And like, you just scroll through their list. Non Buyuri. Like, there's so much good stuff that Silverlink has done. It really does not surprise me that, also Fate Khaled. Yeah, there's also that. It does not surprise me that when they went and adapted this series, that it also ended up being good. Like, this one's not. Chaos Dragon's shit. But, like, also Chaos Child is not very good either. But at least they're pretty. Now, as for Redo of Healer, that one's animated by TNK. Now, TNK is a studio that you've definitely heard of, but you've heard of their works, but you may have never heard of the studio. I can't show you the screen because there's going to be pictures in here that you probably shouldn't see, because TOS. High School DD. Every season of High School DD, except for the latest one, the one that looks like porn. School Days. School Days. This is the studio who did School Days. They did Blade Dance, which is actually a good series. I recommend Blade Dance. It came out 7 years ago? What do you mean it came out? How long have I been watching anime? Too long. Way too long. That's the answer. They did Kenzen Nobo Daimidala, which no one besides me has ever seen, but it is one of the funniest ecchi series you will ever watch. I don't even want to like give away what it's about. Let's see what Mal says as its description. Battles continue between Penguin Empire, the mysterious life form which arrived on Earth all of a sudden, and Beauty Salon Prince, the secret anti-penguin organization. In order to fight Penguin Empire's gigantic penguin robot, Beauty Salon Prince has developed their ultimate weapon, Daimidala, and is now looking for a pilot. They choose Koichi Madanbashi, A hot-blooded high school boy who is mad about big boobs because he is the factor of high aero particles, the source of unknown energy. Also, these penguins have front tails. I'll just let that one sit with you. Basically, the penguins just run around with giant cocks. Which is, you know, that's fun. What else has TNK done? They've done Sin Nanatsu no Taizai, which has nothing to do with the Nanatsu no Taizai you know about. It's a very different series. Anything else of note? Nothing else of note. Like, the fact that they've done school days, though, already just tells you enough about what they do. The other thing to note is everything in their history. I think everything in their history is ecchi or close enough to being ecchi. So yeah. TNK, you've probably seen their stuff, even if you just don't know their name. Especially if you've seen High School DD. Weirdly, they did they did the shorts and the specials for the new season, but they didn't do the actual season itself. I don't know how that one came about, but Oh god. Actually, since we're on the we're not on the topic anymore, but since we were on the topic of FF14, there's two more things I want to talk about. So, for some reason, we're not actually sure why. They released this. This is the trailer for 1.0. Like, the dead game that Yoshi P killed because it was not very good. They just, like, uploaded the trailer for 1.0. And nobody knows why. It just sort of happened. My prediction for why they did it. Then Yoshi P has said countless. Oh, he said once, and sort of, it's been referenced countless times that classic servers are not happening. Someone asked him about classic servers, and he isn't fluent in English. He knows a bit, but he understood enough of the question to respond before the translator actually helped him. And he just started, like, bursting out laughing. I was like, no, we're not doing that. I think he said, something, what was it, like, terrible or something like that? Like, he has no interest in doing 1.0 servers. So I think the reason why they released this trailer, especially now, is Endwalker is basically just out. When is the... Actually, I'll check when the Endwalker release date is. I don't remember, because I don't care about playing Endwalker for a long time. Endwalker. I did pre-order Endwalker, so I can get the EXP bonus. December 7th. But yeah, because Endwalker's basically out, it's out, like, in 7 days as of the upload of this, it sort of just makes sense for why they would release this. Endwalker is the end of this initial saga. And I'm guessing that Yoshi P is including, 1.0 as a part of that saga, even though, look, Yoshi P doesn't want to remember that 1.0 actually exists. But it is still the thing that set up the Calamity happening, set up allowing Realm Reborn to happen, then Heaven's War, and all of that fun stuff. So even though, look, he doesn't want to remember this exists, it still is important to the state the game is currently in. Also, this trailer apparently had never existed on the official FF14 channel up until this point, especially not existing, like, in HD. So considering this is the end of the whole saga we're in right now, it just makes sense to bring it out now. Also, like, it's kind of funny they have, like, this 4-man party to fight this thing. This is not a high-level enemy. This is, like, a level 30 enemy. Gotta get those levels, though. But yeah, people have been, like, theory crafting that. It's like, what does this mean? Does it mean that, like, they're gonna release classic servers? Does it mean is this gonna happen? Does it mean, like, we're going back in time? Does it mean that we're gonna go back before the Calamity happened? I don't think so. I think it was just released to like to cap up the or to wrap up the whole saga we're in. But speaking of Endwalker, the saga of giving Square Enix money is fucking insanely difficult and really shouldn't be continues. So, okay. Do you want me to show I'm going to show you guys how you pre-order Endwalker. The fact that I need to show you is already dumb enough. So, if you want to pre-order Endwalker, what we do is, let's say we go, this wasn't here before, the first thing that was at the top before was the Endwalker page on the FF14 website. So if you want to go and pre-order it, okay? You have all of this stuff here. On a separate page, there is the in-game bonuses. And it's not really clear, like, what you get. Like, it does show, like, oh, these are with the collector's edition. But, like, there's so much nonsense on this page that it's not actually clear the way this works. Also, if you get the collector's edition like I did, these things don't actually come until after the expansion releases, even though you get... So you get these things before the expansion releases. So it sort of just doesn't make any sense. Like, why do these things come out before, but these things come out after? Why don't these things all come out at the same time? Obviously, the Death Scythe sort of makes sense why it comes out after, because, like, Reapers don't exist yet. But the weapon could be in the game, even though Reapers aren't in the game yet. Anyway. So you want to pre-order the game. You want to pre-order Endwalker. So, you go to pre-order. Now you select the version you want. Okay? Whatever. Let's say you want the digital Endwalker. Select the platform. Now make sure you select the correct platform, because if you select the wrong platform, keys are not transferable. So if you want the Windows version, you need the Windows version, and Steam is a different version. Why is Steam and Windows a different version? I don't know. It's the same reason why it's a problem before. But if you go Steam... so if you go Steam, it's going to take you to the Steam... it's going to take you to the Steam website. The Steam website probably works fine in this regard. Actually, no, it doesn't. It probably... No, sorry. It has the exact same problem. It's just a problem in a different way. So imagine you wanted to do it through Windows. So you'd go to the store. Now, this is a different website. Okay? So what you do from this point is you buy the version you want, even though you fucking selected the one you want in here, right? When you go to the store, both things are still an option. But it also adds... actually, no, it doesn't add it to your cart. Both things are still an option here. So you can add one to your cart and do all of that fun stuff. But it also then prompts you to go to the other stores if you have, like, if you're on another platform. Now, when you buy this code, okay, it doesn't activate it in your account, because this is a different website. It's not just a different website. The Final Fantasy account and the Square Enix store account are different accounts. So you can log in with your Final Fantasy account and make a Square Enix store account, but, like, those are still separate accounts. So when you buy the code, you then have to go into your Square Enix store account, grab the code from wherever it is, which won't be visible straight away, because it actually takes time to generate the code. It takes, like, 10, 15 minutes to do. In some people's cases, it's taken over 24 hours. So you grab this stuff. Then what you do with the code is you don't go back to the Final Fantasy website, because this isn't where you manage your Final Fantasy account. What you do instead is you go to the Mog Station website, and the Mog Station website is where you manage all of your Final Fantasy stuff. In here, there's going to be, like, a random button where it says, like, add code to pre-order access to Endwalker, or whatever it says, something along those lines, and you put the code in there. And then finally, you have access to Endwalker inside, or you've added it to your account. Now, do you know how you can simplify this? So the Mog Station has a store, right? The Mog Station, you can buy, like, you can buy aesthetics, you can buy cosmetics, sorry. You can buy cosmetics, you can buy game time, you can buy, other stuff you might want to buy for your account. You can buy story skips if you hate the story for some reason. You shouldn't. Don't do that. Please don't buy level and story skips. I don't want you in my dungeon if you do. If you do that, at least watch a video on how to play your role. Please, please, please. or go run Sastasha at level 80. Just please. I want you to know how to play the game before you queue with me. Just a bare minimum. Just at least know what your buttons do. That's all. You don't have to use them well. At least read the tooltips. But the Mog Station could literally have a button to pre-order Endwalker and automatically do it for you. There's no reason why it couldn't. There's no reason why you need to go to a separate website to do this. Why? Why is it like this? Why can I not pre-order it from, like, in-game? Why do I have to go to this, like, this completely different thing? I don't get it. I don't understand. Also, I actually made this mistake. I gave Square Enix too much money. So you cannot pre-order Endwalker if you are on the free trial. You have to purchase the full game and then pre-order Endwalker. But when you here's the other thing: when you pre-order or when you buy the game, FF14 purchase. Also, it takes you to the EU website, so it's going to show you EU prices by default. Yeah, so I bought the game's not region locked though, so I just paid for the game in euros. Anyway, there's a couple of editions you can buy. You can buy Complete Edition, you can buy Standard Starter Edition, and you can also buy Shadowbringers, which this right here is where it should be showing Endwalker. Shadowbringers is not the expansion that should be here. If you don't pre-order, do not buy Shadowbringers, because if you buy Endwalker, you get all of the previous expansions. Now, where I was saying where I gave Square Enix too much money, so there is the Complete Edition and the Starter Edition. By buying the Complete Edition, you get Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. By buying the Starter Edition, you just get A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward. A Realm Reborn everybody gets, so I don't know why it's even listed. But I actually bought the Complete Edition because I wasn't paying attention. I shouldn't have to pay attention to buy your stupid game. So I actually bought all of these expansions, mainly Stormblood and Shadowbringers. Those are the only ones that I'm going to get to before, or those are the ones I'm not going to get to before Endwalker comes out. But because I bought Endwalker, I also got access to them anyway. So I bought them twice. Also, I actually didn't realize this, but with both the Starter and the Complete Edition, it gives you a free month subscription. I guess it's not free, it's like in the cost. So it's not even that you get extra with the Complete Edition. You just... I just paid for these expansions without needing to, because I'm going to get access to them anyway, because I'm not going to get to them before Endwalker comes out. There are so many ways that, like, the way that this game could just be simplified in its, simplified in the way that you can just pay for it. Like, why is it so complicated to just pay for this game? All I want to do, Square Enix, is give you money. Just let me give you money. Why do you make it so difficult? Why are there so many different versions of the game? Why is it not clear what you get with each version? Why does it send me to the European website? I don't understand. Oh, and that's like, I'm not even doing it from like from the Brave search. I'm doing this from Google, so it knows I'm in Australia, but for some reason the EU site is the one it shows instead. It's just I love Final Fantasy XIV. I'm really enjoying the game. At this point, there's no reason why I wouldn't keep playing. It's taking up a lot of my time, but I love it nonetheless. I am in the process of considering joining a FC, and there's a couple of them that are like catching my attention. Those being Monkey and Oceanauts, because they're both going to be moving over to Oceanic when Oceanic happens. And I'm enjoying the content. I'm enjoying the raiding. I'm enjoying the I don't do the RP stuff myself, but I'm enjoying seeing, you know, the RP is just chilling around Limsa Lominsa. There'll be like concerts happening all the times in Limsa. Like there was some last time I played, I think there was someone playing some Dragon Force, which is always fun to see. I've seen people playing like the Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Demon Slayer opening before, and it's fun. I enjoy it. You can probably tell I enjoy it. Speaking of things I enjoy, I am going to be, I think it's 2 weeks from now? Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be going and seeing the new Sword Art Online movie. Sword Art Online progressive aria of a starless aria of a starless night, where Asuna gets to be the main character, which is good because Asuna's just like, she's a good character when Reki actually gives her fucking attention. Half the time Asuna is just there to be like a damsel in distress, so Kirito can be cool, badass black swordsman, all that fun stuff. But when Asuna actually gets given attention, like in Mother's Rosario, in the second half of Alicization, hopefully in this as well, Asuna's a great character. I do like her. I don't know like how much this movie is going to be adapting, and I don't know how many of the progressive movies we're going to get. If anyone who doesn't know, progressive is basically going to be recovering the Aincrad arc, the first arc of Sword Art Online, but covering it at a pace where, you know, you can learn about the world. I think the first volume covers maybe like 3 floors at most. So 2 floors. It covers 2 floors. The first episode covered like the first episode cover of the like anime covered 1, and then you jumped ahead like 25 floors. So second volume covers the 3rd floor. 3rd volume covers the 4th floor. 4th volume covers the 5th floor. Like, as you can see, like it adapts it very, very slowly. 5th volume adapts the 6th floor. Then 6th volume's also the 6th floor. I guess a lot of stuff happens there. 7th volume is then 7th floor. 8th is also 7th floor. Like, there's actually time being spent to show off what's happening, and like you can sort of see why Kirito and Asuna have like some reputation in this world, because with like the main series, it just jumped ahead to Asuna being like a general or a lieutenant in the guild she was in. It's just like, why? This doesn't make any sense. Like, what has she done? Like, is there any reason why she has all of this like reputation? And the whole thing with like Asuna and Kirito like falling in love, like that in the anime, it was so like in the original series, it was so forced because they basically had like 3 conversations, and then it's like, oh yeah, well, we're dating now. Like, what do you mean you're dating? What are you fucking talking about? You've had 3 conversations with each other. Why what? That doesn't make any sense. But progressive sort of building up on that, sort of making the characters actually have personalities, building up the world, I think is something the series, you know, desperately needed. So I'm very, very excited to go and see this movie, and I'll probably, honestly, I should go and buy the progressive light novels, because I've never actually read them. I did read most of the main series up until the midpoint of Alicization, where War of Underworld, whatever the hell it's called, when that started. Because at the time, the translation was only a fan translation, and the fan translator, I guess, you know, they were busy and just didn't have time to do it. Because it was like one dude doing it. And one dude adapting an entire light novel, or translating an entire light novel, was going to take some time. Especially dealing with, like, getting scanlations as well, and probably having to retype some of it in many cases, just to get the to be able to like deal with it properly. Then typesetting and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it takes a while. But I should go and buy the progressive light novels. Yeah, Maybe I'll do it at some point. I don't know. There's so many light novels I've been meaning to read, and I've been lazy with reading anyway. Like, I want to catch up on Mushoku Tensei. I'm only on the 3rd volume, which is about, I think it's around where we're... No, sorry, we're past the 3rd volume in the anime right now. I think we've just finished the 3rd volume. We're jumping into the 4th volume. Maybe we're in the 4th volume. I don't know. We're somewhere through the 3rd or 4th volume of Mushoku Tensei going into the next one. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be pretty much it for me. Oh, God. That has been surprisingly quick 2 hours, to be honest. If you like the podcast for some reason, I can't judge your taste. I can judge your taste, but I don't understand them. Go check out my main channel, where I do actually produced videos on Linux and other stuff, and ranting about why stupid extensions do not bring dislikes back just because you wish they did. I have my gaming channel where I do various gaming. Currently playing through the Bloodborne. I still have the price tag on it. And Kingdom Hearts, which also still has the price tag on it. Yes, I paid $18 for this. Camera broke for a bit. Anyway, go check it out. I also do YouTube Shorts on there if you like bad content. If you have the what's the word? Attention span of a TikTok user. There are shorts there where you can watch bits of my stream in very bite-sized formats. And if you are watching the audio version of this, listening to the audio version. Video version is available on YouTube and Odyssey. Odyssey I've been uploading later because like I'm happy for stuff to be on Odyssey, but Odyssey just nothing's happening with the platform right now. It's sort of like my growth on the platform has very much just stunted, and it's stunted for about a year. And it seems like that's because nobody new is using it. At least nobody new in the tech space. Maybe there's new people in the like politics space, but like I don't make those videos. And if you're watching the video version, the audio version is available basically anywhere. Check out, iTunes and all that fun stuff. Like anywhere you can get a podcast feed, there will be a podcast there for the most part, unless they don't use RSS feeds, in which case it won't be there. And if you want it to be there, then let me know and I will do something about it, I guess. So that's gonna be pretty much it for me. I need to stop talking because before I lose my voice before tomorrow's stream, which will be fun if that happens. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, and I hope I didn't lose any of that recording there.